The forest was quiet, save for the soft rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds. Ethan had always found solace in these woods, a place where he could escape the noise of the world and just be. He was a wildlife photographer, and today, like most days, he was out searching for the perfect shot. But what he found was something he could never have anticipated. It started with a faint whimper, barely audible over the sounds of the forest. Ethan followed the sound, his curiosity piqued. He pushed through a thicket of bushes and froze. There, lying on the ground, was a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It was large, about the size of a wolf, with sleek silver fur that shimmered in the dappled sunlight. Its body was lean and muscular, but it was clearly injured. A deep gash ran along its side, and its breathing was labored. Ethan approached cautiously, his camera forgotten. The creature's eyes, a striking shade of violet, locked onto his. There was intelligence in those eyes, a depth that made Ethan's breath catch. He knelt beside the creature, his hands trembling as he reached out. "It's okay," he murmured, his voice soft and soothing. "I'm not going to hurt you." The creature didn't move, but its eyes never left his. Ethan quickly assessed the wound. It was bad but not life-threatening. If he could get the creature back to his cabin, he might be able to help it. He shrugged off his jacket and carefully wrapped it around the creature, lifting it as gently as he could. It was heavier than it looked, but Ethan managed to carry it back to his cabin. Over the next few days, Ethan tended to the creature's wound, cleaning it and applying salves to prevent infection. The creature, though wary, seemed to understand that Ethan meant no harm. It ate the food he offered, mostly raw meat and vegetables, and drank water from a bowl he set out. But it was the eyes that fascinated Ethan the most. They were so expressive, so human, in a way that defied explanation. One night, as Ethan sat by the fire, the creature limped over to him and laid its head on his lap. Ethan froze, his heart pounding. But the creature simply closed its eyes, a soft purr emanating from its throat. Ethan hesitantly reached out and stroked its fur, marveling at how soft it was. "You're not just an animal, are you?" he whispered. The creature's eyes opened, and for a moment, Ethan thought he saw something, a flicker of recognition, of understanding. But then it closed its eyes again, and Ethan was left wondering if he had imagined it. A week passed, and the creature's wound healed remarkably fast. Ethan had never seen anything like it. But just as he began to think about releasing it back into the wild, something extraordinary happened. He woke one night to a strange light emanating from the living room. He grabbed a flashlight and crept downstairs, his heart racing. What he saw made him drop the flashlight. The creature was gone. In its place stood a woman, tall and ethereal, with silver hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall. Her skin was pale, almost luminescent, and her violet eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She wore a strange, form-fitting suit that seemed to shimmer like her fur had. Ethan stared, his mind struggling to process what he was seeing. Who are you?" The woman, no, the alien, smiled softly. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice melodic and otherworldly. "And I owe you my life." Ethan's knees buckled, and he sank into a chair. You were the creature." Lyra nodded. "I am a shapeshifter, a member of the Veylari. My people are hunted by a ruthless faction known as the Krylosians. I was injured during an escape and forced to take this form to hide. If you hadn't found me..." She trailed off, but Ethan understood. He had saved her life. Over the next few days, Lyra explained her story. She was a princess of the Veylari, a peaceful species that valued harmony and balance. The Krylosians, a warlike race, sought to exploit her people's unique abilities, and Lyra had been captured during a raid. She had managed to escape, but not without injury. Ethan listened, his mind reeling. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it was real. And now, this alien princess was in his cabin, trusting him with her life. "What happens now?" he asked. Lyra's expression grew serious. "The Krylosians will not stop until they find me. I must return to my people, but I cannot do it alone. I need your help." Ethan hesitated. He was just a photographer, not a hero. But looking into Lyra's eyes, he knew he couldn't turn away. "What do you need me to do?" Their journey was fraught with danger. The Krylosians had tracked Lyra to Earth, and they were closing in. Ethan and Lyra moved through the forest, using his knowledge of the terrain to stay one step ahead. But the Krylosians were relentless, their advanced technology giving them an edge. One night, as they camped in a hidden cave, Lyra turned to Ethan. "You have done so much for me," she said. "But this is not your fight. You can still walk away." Ethan shook his head. "I'm not leaving you. Not now." Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Then there is something you should know. My people have a saying. The bond between savior and saved is unbreakable. You are not just my protector, Ethan. You are my friend." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a sense of purpose he had never known. "Then let's finish this." The final confrontation came at dawn. The Krylosians had cornered them on a cliff overlooking the forest. Ethan stood beside Lyra, his heart pounding but his resolve unshaken. The Krylosian leader, a towering figure with scales like molten gold, sneered at them. "You cannot escape," he growled. "Surrender the princess, and we will spare your life." Ethan stepped forward, his voice steady. "You'll have to go through me first." The Krylosian laughed, a harsh, grating sound. But before he could act, Lyra transformed, her body shifting into a massive, silver-winged creature. She let out a deafening roar, her eyes blazing with fury. The Krylosians hesitated, their confidence wavering. Ethan seized the moment. He grabbed a rock and hurled it at the leader, striking him in the face. The Krylosian stumbled, and Lyra lunged, her talons slashing through his armor. The other Krylosians, now leaderless, fled. When it was over, Lyra returned to her humanoid form, her breathing heavy but her eyes filled with relief. "It is done," she said. "Thanks to you." Ethan smiled, though his legs felt like jelly. "I guess I'm not just a photographer after all." Lyra took his hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "You are more than you know, Ethan. And I will never forget what you have done for me." As the sun rose over the forest, a sleek, silver ship descended from the sky. Lyra's people had come for her. She turned to Ethan, her eyes filled with emotion. "Come with me," she said. "See the stars. Be part of something greater." Ethan hesitated. It was tempting, but he knew his place was here on Earth. "I can't," he said. "But I'll never forget you, Lyra." She nodded, her smile bittersweet. "Then this is not goodbye. It is, until we meet again." As the ship ascended into the sky, Ethan watched until it was just a speck among the stars. He knew his life would never be the same. And though he stayed on Earth, a part of him would always be among the stars, with the alien princess who had changed his life forever.